Border Patrol started to kidnap brown people outside the event in Los Angeles, California, where our governor Gavin Newsom declared redistricting in the state. This is not just retaliation, it is mocking him. Do you know why? Because the courts literally banned him from doing this, from racially profiling and just getting, people off the streets because they look illegal. Yet they've been doing it. Did it today right in front of Gavin Newsom. They did it last week when they kidnapped a 15-year-old boy with special needs. They said it was mistaken identity. Yes, they thought he was illegal because he was Latino, but in California, that's 15 million people who are capable of being stopped first and then released later, right? That is 40% of the population. Ask yourself, why do you think they've been sending Border Patrol to ignore these court orders and not ICE agents? Californians, it is time. It is time for you, if you have not done so, to enjoy your Second Amendment. Why? Because one day our governor, Gavin Newsom, or our governor, the commander-in-chief, will call on us to defend the state away from the National Guard, who will be what? Who will be taken over by a king. So he's going to need people, citizens, and the state who are capable of serving as that defense. We must be ready with arms. We must be ready with whatever assets are required in order to defend our homes, our communities, and our state. Governor Gavin Newsom needs to start arresting these agents who continue to ignore court orders. He needs to do it because they know that he won't. That's why they're doing it right outside. They're mocking him because they know that he isn't going to do anything about them ruining the state, about them being lawless. He needs to do it, and he won't do it without us demanding it. So please learn to be much more forceful against our governor when it comes to him defending us from the federal kidnappers. We know that Trump wants to federalize the National Guard across the states. We know that he's going to utilize the federal agents as weapons to control these states, right? To harm these states, right? And what that's going to do, right? In California, that was against a 40% population that is Latino, right? They're just kidnapping people who look brown. And DC, a good amount of the population there is black. Why do you think they want to clean it up? Unfortunately for DC, they're not a state, but California is. In that reality, we have much more state rights capable of opposing the federal encroachment of our liberties. In California particularly, our state constitution guarantees that our rights are guaranteed, even if the federal constitution changes. At a point, your governor will have to choose. Either you're going to respect the badge or you're going to protect the state. You cannot do both at the same time. And knowing that he wants to federalize the National Guard against the states, our state governors in the blue states have to be very much open to the fact that they will need to create a militia outside of the National Guard so that he cannot federalize them. That is, of citizens willing to fight for the state. They need to start these plans right now. They need to start it because ultimately it's going to be where the state is going to be against not only the federal government, but it's going to be against the military, right? It's going to be against the federal agents. So we have to think fast. We have to think smart. And that's a reality. Our military, for every fucking soldier who won't commit acts that are against Americans, there will be soldiers who will. In this reality, the military as a entity is also a national threat to the Constitution. So we have to walk in this faith, and we have to force our governor to actually be in retaliation of these agents who obviously think he is a joke and think the courts are a joke. So there needs to be consequences, and that has to be from the state governor, not from local officials, because he is our state commander-in-chief. He should be the one who takes over through emergency powers the state and local PD so that they can arrest them, right? He's not going to do that, but these are avenues that we have to think about because they obviously don't give a fuck about protecting Californians, about protecting Americans, about protecting anything. They only care about retaliating, and we need to have consequences for that retaliation.